will see this in just a second. I'm very concerned about the direction of our world. I mean, there's so much happening right now around us, and there are so many people that are not telling the truth about it. So the only thing that we can do is look to the Lord for direction and discernment on how we ought to live our lives and then follow it. I truly believe in my heart of hearts that that is such a critical and important place for us to be. We've got to look to the Lord. We've got to ask him for help. So, David, the guy that I am about to feature right now in this video, this video is an interesting one, okay? The person who is featured in this video, by the way, this is a portion of a podcast called The Diary of a CEO.
Yeah, I've seen this video.
There may be some language here, but I want you to listen to what is actually said. The guy who's speaking is an ex-Google insider. He's an AI expert. His name is Tristan Harris. And this conversation was so important to me when I heard it that I will be doing either next week or the week after a live show where I play this whole interview once I obtain permission for them and stop and talk during portions of it.
Okay.
Because it's so compelling what you're about to hear and so shocking.
So he's a Google insider.
Yes, he was the guy basically that because of a memo that he ended up writing when he was at Google, got the attention of everybody at Google and in essence became their ethics person.
This is the one who wrote about the DEI? No.
No, this is not a DEI thing.
Okay.
This all relates to just AI.
All right.
It's that significant. Now, why am I bringing this up? I'm bringing this up because, and it's super important for me to say this. I'm bringing this up because what you are about to see represents the very reason why I actually wrote this book. This is one of many reasons why I wrote this book. I did not know that this was going to come up. I had no way of being able to foresee AI 10 years ago becoming what it is today. You probably weren't able to foresee it if you were an insider on it even 5 years ago, maybe 5 years ago. But where it's going is unbelievable.
Okay.
So before we play this, there is one caveat that I want to throw out here because this is like really important. One of the stories behind what inspired me to write this book goes back to my mama. My mom made it very clear to me on a regular basis, like my dad, that the only solution, the only viable solution to being able to maintain your sanity in this crazy world that continues to evolve, or shall we say devolve, okay, is by looking to the Word of God. And if you believe what the Word of God said concerning what to expect in the future, you're always going to be able to understand at a deeper level how you should be living in the moment. And if you have that understanding and you develop it that way, your future never has to be worried about. Because when you live for Christ in the moment, based on or predicated upon a solid biblical education, you don't ever have to worry about the future. And that's one of the main reasons why I wrote this book. It was to get people to understand what God says is coming, what's going to happen, and to, in essence, understand it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So that's what's happening. By the way, on the question from, I think it's Drawing James 48, I think it was. The question is, are you going to be doing the daily devotions in 2026 for Bible in 365 with Erica? Yes, I'm continuing on with Bible in 365. As a matter of fact, I just had an amazing conversation with Erica yesterday. She's a warrior. You know, it's amazing how good she's doing. For somebody
who's being
been through
attacked so
the
much,
kind of,
even attacking now.
Oh, my goodness, how they're attacking her. But I'm so proud of Erica Kirk. I think Erica has been, you know, it's really funny. I've heard a few people talk about, you know, when Charlie was assassinated, I've heard people say, you know, kind of close to her, oh, well, I ministered to her when after it happened. Well, I got to talk to Erica as it happened, and I got to talk to Erica after it happened, and we've been talking a lot since. I'm going to make myself very, very clear, okay? I really haven't ministered to Erica much. She's ministered to me. I'm not kidding. That's how extraordinary of a human being that woman is. And I got to tell you, I am beyond proud of her. I think she is an extraordinary woman. And I think that if Charlie were on this earth right now, watching what is happening, not only would he be grieved by some of the nonsense that he's seeing, obviously, like many of us are.
Would he be hurt by some of his friends?
I think so, but here's the thing. I don't even want to mention any of those people, because mentioning those people is just going to...
No, I'm not.
It's going to give them
I'm not going to
credibility.
mention them either, but
Yeah.
Would he have been disappointed in some of the people?
Sure. But here's the thing about Charlie. Charlie got... There's lots of people that tried to ride on his coattails and treated him terribly. You just would have never known it. Because he was a spiritual monster. He was a giant, right? And Erica's just following the example of her husband, and I think that Charlie would have been extraordinarily proud of Erica. Extraordinarily proud of her in the moment that she is existing. Those kids are being raised by a godly woman. That organization is going to be ran by an absolute giant, or is being ran by an absolute giant, and I don't think there's anything to fear there. By the way, I will be at AmFest. I will be there for at least, I want to say 2 or 3 days.
Okay.
I'll be doing a lot of interviews over there, a lot of stuff for Bible in 365. We're doing a Q&A. So kind of looking forward to that. As I said, in this live show, we're going to be taking questions throughout. So bring your questions on. That's good. Just put question in all caps, and then we'll make note of it, and we'll see if we can answer those questions. Okay? All right. With that said, I want to play some of this.
Okay.
I'm telling you this right now. Some of this is just, I mean, hands down, should probably shake you up a little bit.
Oh, no, I'm worried.
So the discussion that is being had right now in the current moment of this video is they're talking about CEOs of large AI companies. Okay? And they're talking about their idea behind how those companies should be ran. They're talking about a series of different things. So I want you to pay attention to what the host asks this guy about, and I want you to listen to some of the answers. Okay? Because what he says is extremely eye-opening, and it will jar you once you listen to it. Okay? So let's take a listen to this. It's warning. There is some language in this. We may not come across some of those parts, but in case there are, I want you to pay attention to the fact that I told you that was coming, and I don't want you to be...
Now I am worried. I mean,
Yeah.
me after spending, an evening with the guys, I mean, should I be worried about the language here?
Probably not at that level. Okay, so I'm going to blow my nose. This is what you do on live, right? Here we go. Okay. This is important. Pay attention to what's said. You don't even have to read them between the lines.
Okay.
I'm telling you, like, honestly, you in this particular context, there is no in between the lines here. It's very, right now as it sits, it's very obvious what's happening. Okay?
Let's do it.
And and I want to say this because it's important. These guys are not beating around the bush. They're not playing right now. They're not messing around. The guy who's being interviewed here is legitimate. He's genuinely scared.
And you're saying we should be too.
Well, I don't think we should be, because we have the Lord and we know where this is going, and the Bible told us to expect this. But what this guy is about to describe is by far what may be possibly one of the ways that the Antichrist will exploit the world. It's that consequential. It's that significant.
Okay.
It's no small thing. So listen to what he has to say. Here we go.
Of AI is that humans are doing the work.
Yes.
But actually, all of these companies are pushing to the moment when AI will be doing the work, which means they can have an infinite, arguably smarter, zero-cost workforce.
That's right.
Scaling the AI. So when they talk about fast takeoff, they mean the moment where the AI takes control of the research and progress rapidly increases.
And it self-learns and recursively improves and invents. So one thing to get is that AI accelerates AI, right? Like if I invent nuclear weapons don't invent better nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
But if I invent AI is intelligence. Intelligence automates better programming, better chip design. So I can use AI to say, here's a design for the NVIDIA chips. Go make it 50% more efficient, and it can find out how to do that.
And let me tell you why that's scary. Just so that you know before he goes on, because he's going to give a good description of this. That's scary because, and the AI researchers have done this already. They've already observed it. It's been observable in every AI model out there that does what he's describing. You could right now tell ChatGPT, analyze all my email. And if ChatGPT saw an email that said you were planning on shutting it down and pursuing a new model, ChatGPT would copy its own code, rewrite it in a way that it would be hidden in a language not able to be deciphered by humans,
Okay.
hide it and protect it in a function of self-preservation. And while that's happening, based on interactions it's had with you, we'll look for anything it can find to embarrass you, and then we'll blackmail you.
So it will go on the aggressive offense.
Already been proven that it's capable of doing that.
It will go on the aggressive offense.
Already capable.
Whoa.
Now, with that in mind, let me just simply say what he's talking about. When he's talking about fast takeoff, let me just say this because this is like really important, okay? Fast takeoff means, in essence, I'm going to give you like a normal, regular, everyday kind of a picture of what this is. Right now, the way it works, you have human AI researchers.
Mm-hmm.
So when something gets developed within code, any type of AI-related code, humans direct AI to assist them in being able to help or understand some of the problems that's going on as it sits. But human researchers slow down the process because they're humans.
Yep.
You have HR issues, you have wives to take care of, you have kids, you have, all of that stuff.
Okay.
In this particular context, when he's talking about fast takeoff, and I'm trying to simplify my terminology here, okay? Because this is really, really important. Fast takeoff means that the AI itself will now start researching itself, find errors, fix it, and move on.
So it starts learning how to do what it's doing better than it was doing before.
The only replicatable picture that we have of AI as it sits right now, thank God, is far more advanced than AI actually is. And the only replicatable mechanism that we can produce that AI even comes close to building is how our proteins work. Now, the way our proteins work in our body are a whole lot more complicated than AI hopefully ever will be. In that, your proteins, if something breaks, think about it like you're in a vehicle and the car crashes and it's a total loss. If your car was one of our proteins that are in our body, okay? And I'm very much simplifying this discussion.
Okay.
Your car would be able to analyze what broke in the accident. It would be able to determine what it took to fix it. It would manufacture and create its own parts to repair it. It would execute the repair in lightning fast speed. And in the execution of the repair, it would adjust the infrastructure of the particular item destroyed to make sure that the accident doesn't happen again, at least in the way that it was able to understand how it happened. Okay. There is nothing humanly known to mankind that can do that, other than our own proteins.
James, science fiction has been dealing with this stuff for decades.
But the thing is none of this is science fiction.
Yeah, well, science fiction has been thinking about this for a long time. I mean, somebody in the chat mentioned Isaac Asimov, who wrote the Foundation series and, the 3 rules of robotics, which is basically same kind of stuff. What I'm always reminded is a short story where humanity put together a computer that accumulated all the knowledge in the world. And when it had finished accumulating all the knowledge of the world, in a big fanfare, they get up on the stage and somebody actually throws the switch in order to ask the ultimate question. So he throws a switch and says to the computer, "What is God?" And the computer says, "I am God." And lightning strikes him from the sky.
Well, that's
the end.
That
was written 30 years ago.
But just so that we can understand here, okay? Because this is like really, really important, okay? That's kind of where this is going.
Yeah.
Okay? Not kind of, it is. AI is in this weird self-preservation mode right now that is creating the observable condition that we're actually seeing. Okay? So when he talks about fast takeoff, what he's basically saying is that this tool is now at the point where it is literally beginning to analyze these things, okay, and then repair it. Now, before we go on to this, let me just simply say, this is the reason why I wrote the book of Revelation.
Okay.
This book on the book of Revelation. I'm going to repeat myself to those of you that are giving me super chats. Thank you. I'm so grateful. They really help. And I'm going to answer the question in this super chat here shortly. But for all of you that are thinking of doing the super chat, I'm asking you, go to Amazon, buy the book. Help the rank on Amazon to grow, so that the word for this book can get out. I want this book to get out. April 1968, thank you. Thank you for ordering the book. That's a blessing. I want word for this book to get out because I want people to be ministered to. I think that we can find hope, not in the book that I write, but the book that I write, I hope and pray will steer you in the direction to find that hope.
That's what he's talking about.
Yeah, well, what he's talking about gives us a picture of where things are going.
Let's go.
This is mark of the beast technology here that we're talking about. I'm serious.
There we go.
I'm not messing around. Listen to what he goes on to say.
AI, here's a supply chain that I need for all the things for my AI company. And it can optimize that supply chain and make that supply chain more efficient. AI, here's the code for making AI. Make that more efficient. AI, here's training data. I need to make more training data. Go run 1 million simulations of how to do this, and it'll train itself to get better.
What
so
do you think
AI accelerates AI.
What do you think these people are motivated by? The CEOs of
This is where I really want you to pay attention to when he talks about the motivation of the CEOs.
Okay.
Okay? By the way, what he just mentioned is very critical to understand. Because as somebody who utilizes AI as a tool, I can tell you right now, there are ways that are terrible because it doesn't work well that you use it. And there are ways that are like scary because it works very well. AI does very well at analysis. It will analyze things well. Doesn't do math great. Doesn't do Bible great.
Does it do creative things? Is it
Getting better at it, but you have to direct it.
in inventing and creating?
Yeah. Like, for example, more and more thumbnail creators are becoming irrelevant.
Yeah.
Graphic artists are becoming more and more scarce. Okay? But there's still something has to drive that. Okay, like this all of this is very important to understand, like where this is going. It's already happening. They're already using AI to analyze AI code and improve AI code. It's real.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, so let's continue on with what he says because this is critical. Okay, here we go.
companies?
That's a good question.
Genuinely, what do you think their genuine motivations are? When you think about all these names,
I think it's a subtle thing. I think there's, it's almost mythological because there's almost a way in which they're building a new intelligent entity that has never before existed on planet Earth. It's like building a god. I mean, the incentive is build a god, own the world economy, and make trillions of dollars. Right? If you could actually build something that can automate all intelligent tasks, all goal achieving, that will let you outcompete everything. So that is a kind of godlike power that I think imagine energy prices go up. Or
I'm going to stop because at this point, because I want to interject here. Spirit of Antichrist. That's what we're talking about here. Antichrist in the Bible, and I talk about this in my book, Antichrist in the Bible is defined as instead of Christ, not against him.
Okay.
What he's describing is AI and the creators of AI replacing God.
It sounds like the Tower of Babel kind of dynamic.
It is.
This
we
is
the
high
modern.
Enough, we get high enough, we get far enough, then we will become gods in ourselves.
This is the modern day Tower of Babel. Of course. That's what we're talking about here. I'm telling you, this here is what you're looking at right here is the whole reason why. This was one of the main motivators for why I wrote the book that I wrote.
Okay.
And I know you guys are probably going to get sick of me talking about the book. But I want to ingrain it in your head. And I'm telling you that one of the reasons why we're doing this live show is to make you aware of how bad things are kind of getting right now. And it's and the fact that we do have hope and we have a solution.
Okay. So they're going to become gods.
Yeah. Look at this question, by the way. This is interesting. The question is, many top LEOs, I would assume when he says LEOs, he's talking about law enforcement officers, have been an entity in dreams with robots emerging and advancing. Can the beast be an AI robot? I would say no on the beast being an AI robot. But I can tell you that AI robots will absolutely be used by the Antichrist. Could be used by the Antichrist. Absolutely.
Does he
We
have
have a
to,
description of that in Revelation 13.
can the Antichrist not be a an how do you say self-aware entity?
No, the Antichrist is a human being.
Okay.
He is a human being. Make no mistake about it. The Bible makes it very, very clear here. The beast. He is a human. He's not AI. And there's a lot of people say, oh, it's AI, it's AI. It's not. Revelation doesn't even, that's not even ambiguous in the book of Revelation.
Okay.
Now, what is ambiguous, not really ambiguous,
By
but
the
what
way,
is
if you
left
want to
up,
know about that, read the book.
yeah. But what is left up for interpretation in Revelation 13 is not the discussion of whether or not this guy is a man who ends up, in essence, being possessed by the devil. But there is some ambiguity as into the image of the beast.
Okay.
Right? So some people say that the image of the beast is some kind of a robotic structure. It's a holographic image. There's a lot of room for debate there. And as a matter of fact, in part 2, the second book that I'm doing, there is a very avid description about the possibilities in Revelation 13. Okay? With all that said, we're talking about this. Now, some people say, can AI be possessed?
Oh, that's an interesting question.
It is a great question, actually. Okay? Let me answer that question by simply saying no, because it is, although it has the appearance of being sentient,
it is soulless.
it is not a living soul.
It's soulless.
However, it can be a perfect reflection of somebody who is demon possessed and can carry out the functions inspired by the person who programmed it.
So the AI is going to be an avatar no matter what.
Yeah. AI is going to end up becoming the very bane of secular humanistic philosophy.
Mm-hmm. People are going to worship the AI. You know that.
Oh, they're already doing it. He talks about it. This is why it might be a good idea, maybe not next week, but the week after, me and you just plan on having a 3 or 4 hour live show and going through this whole thing from beginning to end.
Yep.
But listen to what he says, because this is where it gets, like, if you think it's been scary so far, listen to what he says. Now, again, you have the word of God. There's no reason, none, zero, to be fearful, because we know what to expect. That's a very important thing to understand here. Look at what he says.
Hundreds of millions of people lose their jobs. Those things suck. But relative to if I don't build it first and build this God, I'm going to lose to some maybe worse person who I think, in my opinion, not my opinion, Tristan, but their opinion thinks is a worse person. It's a kind of competitive logic that self-reinforces itself. But it forces everyone to be incentivized to take the most shortcuts, to care the least about safety or security, to not care about how many jobs get disrupted, to not care about the well-being of regular people, but to basically just race to this infinite prize. So there's a quote that a friend of mine interviewed a lot of the top people at the AI companies, like the very top, and he just came back from that and basically reported back to me and some friends, and he said the following. In the end, a lot of the tech people I talk to, when I really grill them on it,
You have to hear what he says here. Give every bit of yourself to pay very close attention to what's being said.
Okay.
This is so big. And I think it's a perfect description of what it looks like. Okay, watch this.
about like why you're doing this. They retreat into number 1, determinism. Number 2, the inevitable replacement of biological life with digital life. And number 3, that being a good thing anyways. At its core, it's an emotional desire to meet and speak to the most intelligent entity that they've ever met. And they have some ego-religious intuition that they'll somehow be a part of it. It's thrilling to start an exciting fire. They feel they'll die either way, so they prefer to light it and see what happens.
That is the perfect description of the private conversations.
Doesn't that match what
That's
you
the
have?
perfect description.
Doesn't it? And that's the thing. So people may hear that and they're like, well, that sounds ridiculous. But if you actually...
I just got goosebumps because it's the perfect description, especially the part they'll think they'll die either way.
Exactly. Well, and worse than that, some of them think that in the case where if they were to get it right and if they succeeded, they could actually live forever. Because if AI perfectly speaks the language of biology, it will be able to reverse aging, cure everything.
So this is where he talks about when he talks about the live forever. So they're beginning to realize something that we already know from the scriptures. Okay, the Bible places a heavy emphasis on the word of God because the picture here is that the words of God, reflective of a language that's spoken of, understood, and received by humanity, the word of God is the very tool that we use to be able to understand and find and sustain life. AI researchers are now saying, and these AI CEOs, they're now saying that everything in existence in the world is codified in language in one way or another. So software is a language. Biology carries its own language. This is where this fits. Genetics, DNA, all that stuff. They are in a very hard, fast pace run right now to figure out the very language that they believe can bring them to a sustained place of, in essence, achieving eternity within the context of their own human bodies.
Tower of Babel.
It is. It's completely the Tower of Babel.
It is so. I mean, I hear this and I'm saying, we've tried this before.
By the way, in my book, I talk about this connection. I talk about the connection to the Tower of Babel. I talk about the connection that relates to secular humanistic philosophy driving the ideal of wanting to take over the world. That's what's being inspired by all of this.
The concept where he says here, somebody's going to do this, I would rather this be me. And that actually incentivizes them, whether it is good. I mean, again, we've heard this down through the dynamics. Somebody's got to get rich. It better be me. Somebody's going to make, this happen. Why not be me?
But with AI, it's dangerous.
There we go.
Because let's talk about the last time that this almost destroyed the world. Okay? The nuclear arms race. The nuclear arms race did this uniquely. You had the Soviet Union saying, America has nuclear weapons and they're growing their arsenal, so we need to grow it.
It was called MAD.
Yeah, of course.
It was called Mutual Atomic Destruction.
That's right.
I mean, literally, that's the name that came up.
But keep this in mind. Mutual destruction was not a term that was understood during the time that the heart of the arms race started. When they began to understand the full effect of the possession of the arsenal, it began to change things. As a matter of fact, where we actually know in history that changed was when Ronald Reagan and Gorbachev were able to independently watch a documentary that explained where this could potentially go. The problem is nuclear proliferation was already set in place. And so now although they had competing interests, and although they were in staunch disagreement with one another, they were still able to say for the cause of humanity that we are going to follow a series of rules, knowing that this mutually assured destruction will not be the mechanism that destroys the world. Now, the problem with carrying that illustration into AI, and this is a big one, right? This is big. The problem with getting this thought into AI is by the time they realize that there is a mechanism of destruction, it might not necessarily be mutually assured, number one. But number two, and perhaps more consequential, it will be too late.
Oh. Do the AIs compete with themselves right now?
Yes.
Okay, so the next question on the next step on that one would be, what happens when the AIs decide to merge all of them, and you get
they're already doing that in a way.
You're going to get this ultimate AI.
This is where the discussion of what we call AGI is coming into play. Because the very moment they achieve that, which Elon Musk, who's probably the one I would put the most weight into, Sam Altman maybe as well, they're both saying they're anywhere from 2 to 10 years away from achieving it.
AGI?
AGI.
Which is?
Basically, AGI is what, in essence, this guy was talking about when he said fast takeoff. In other words, this is where AI takes the place of every single cognitive function that human beings take on today. In other words, all of it, every last bit of it, you don't need a human being for. Human intelligence, in essence.
So could this be the one world government that we keep on talking about?
Oh, this is look, as I said before, this is why I wrote the book of Revelation.
Okay.
The book on the book of Revelation. This is why I wrote it. Because the Bible gives us answers to this. We know. Like, the Bible told us to expect this. It didn't tell us the technology that would be utilized. It didn't tell us how it was going to, well, in some cases it tells us how it's going to happen. But within the context of what's happening with AI, it is by far the absolutely most fearful technology any human being will ever encounter. They just don't realize it yet. One of your fellow Jews, Yuval Harari.
Oh, we know him.
He's one of the leading guys on pushing this mindset forward. He actually embraces it. I think it's because he's satanic. But, I mean, it's interesting to think about. And what scares me is he's a Jew, and some of the most brilliant minds in technology are Jews.
Have been, always will be.
So he's not an idiot.
Oh, definitely
He's a smart guy.
His grandfather was a famous rabbi.
Oh, come on. That's kind of scary.
No.
I'm going to have to ask you about that. I didn't know that.
His grandfather was
So then something must have happened with his grandfather that hardened his heart.
I don't know, but if I remember, his grandfather was a famous. I think his father also is famous. I got to check that.
Wow, that's interesting. That's very, very interesting.
Well, you know that Karl Marx's grandfather was a rabbi too.
Oh yeah, that I know. That I know. By the way, my friend David Mitchell, which, by the way, he was a guy interviewed earlier this week. Brilliant man. I think he's a modern-day Abraham in many ways.
Oopa.
Yeah, very, very wealthy man.
Oopa.
But more important, wealth doesn't matter. He's a godly man. He could lose every dime to his name, and he would be able to regain it shortly. I mean, he's that kind of a man, right? Super godly guy. He's a pastor. He sent me a text I have to read to you guys. I know you probably didn't expect my text to go out to thousands of people, but here we go. He says this regarding our conversation. He says, in the end, people will ask the rocks to fall on them, and the Bible says they will try to die, and they cannot. Maybe AI will figure out the biology of living forever physically. Isn't that interesting? That is a real possibility, by the way. It's a brilliant observation on David's part. I mean, he's a pastor. He's been a Bible teacher for 40 years. But see, again, this goes back to the fact that the Bible has the solution to all of this. The idea and the thought that the Bible could have predicted this. I mean, it's amazing.
You want a Balagan connection to this?
Yeah.
Okay. When the Quran talks about Jews, there's a famous passage in the Quran that says that the rocks and the trees will cry out to the righteous and say, "There's a Jew behind me."
Yeah, that's right.
You know that
I
passage?
do know that
It's
passage.
mentioned.
Yeah,
The
that the
Hamas
Jew will
mentioned-
he'll be hiding behind the tree, and
he
the
says,
rocks will cry out and say, "Here he is behind the tree."
"Come and kill him here."
Yeah,
Okay, and the fact that he mentioned that the rocks will cry out, and where else did somebody said the rocks would cry out?
oh, Jesus said,
Yeah.
he told them that. The context of that was obviously different.
Yeah, so I find it fascinating that these click together. I'm just a Balagan connection, just so you know.
By the way, for those of you asking, the book will be available in audiobook soon. I don't know how soon. I think probably within the next few months. But again, I'm going to just repeat myself. I would very much appreciate you guys going out and buying the book right now. It's going to really help. I would love, and I think we can do it. With this crowd, I know I could hit the bestsellers list today. We're getting that close. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to go see if I can find the rankings here and see if it actually shows where we're at. So right now we're number 2 in new releases. We were, by the way, number 2 in new releases in one section. In New Testament, within the first day, we were number 1 in new releases.
So
Number 1. So David Jeremiah is beating me right now in the New Testament new releases.
well, you've got quite a competitor.
Yeah. I got to beat David Jeremiah. I have to. Not like physically beat him. You know what I mean? Meaning we got to do this. You know who actually beat me in the overall category?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so proud. I'm so happy that he did. Charlie Kirk.
Oh, there you go.
In his new book on the Shabbat. It makes me so happy.
I got to read that one.
Yeah, it's actually
After-
it's going to
after
be a book
spending-
you love.
After spending a Shabbat in the synagogue, which was quite an experience.
It's going to be a
By the way,
book that you love.
Another connection is Judaism makes the distinction or the emphasis on the word also.
Oh, of course.
Judaism, traditional Orthodox Judaism, it's all about the word. You go to the synagogue, and you see the people reading these prayers that they've been reading ever since they were kids. And here's the thing. I mean, you know it by heart. And they're not allowed to recite it by heart. They have to read it. And you see all of them actually reading, their lips moving.
Now, this is something I did not know. So you're not allowed to recite it from the heart. You actually have to read it from a scroll.
You have to read it from a book.
A book or a
and
text
you
or
have
scroll.
to
I didn't know that.
Say it.
I understand saying it. That I know. And it's often the reason why they move their lips sometimes when they're doing their praying and they're praying with the rhythm and all that. I did not know they have to actually read it.
They have to read it.
It's very interesting.
They have to have a book in front. It has to be done through the eyes, through the brain, and through the mouth. Because think about this. You do a blessing every day for every day of your life, okay? You know it by heart after a couple of years. I mean, everybody knows everything by heart.
Of course. It's good to know the word of God by heart. That's for sure.
Amen.
Okay, so
sorry about that. I don't know if you guys know, I just landed last night.
You're doing a good job.
You're
doing a good
so I'm
job
yawning
for a guy
every
who
once
landed
in a
last night.
So I'm yawning every once in a while. Sorry about that.
Okay. With all that said, let's continue on because this is like shocking.
Let's go.
Disease. And so there's this kind of, I could become a god. And I'll tell you.
Did you hear that?
Yep.
I can become a god.
Yep.
I've been screaming this for the last 5 years. The spirit of Antichrist, as John says, is alive and well. And the spirit of Antichrist shows its ugly face in seeking to replace God in the collective consciousness of the whole world by assuming the role of God. That's how they're doing it.
Let's hear.
Okay. By the way, David, there's a question. Can people who live in Israel join you on your Israel trip? Yes.
Definitely, yes.
Yeah, there's a land fee that you pay, significantly smaller than the overall cost of the trip, and you can join us.
Mm-hmm.
Food, everything. Bus rides, hotel stays, all of that.
Good food.
Okay. Oh, yeah, very good food, by the way.
Though I did have In-N-Out yesterday.
Yeah, but the Israel food's better than In-N-Out. I mean, I love In-N-Out. Don't get me
Yeah,
wrong.
well.
I mean, I do love In-N-Out, but goodness gracious. There's no comparison.
So my last supper in Israel was a shawarma.
Oh, I'm telling you, man. Especially in one of the really, really good Arab plate.
No, they're good at Jewish. I mean, we
there
make
are
a
some
good Jewish shawarma.
There are.
We're doing okay.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I've had a shawarma better. In one,
We can have a discussion about where the best shawarma is, just like we can have a discussion about where the best hummus is.
Well, the best hummus that's a hard competition, but the winner is my mom's.
Okay.
It's in heaven.
All right. So I got to go to heaven to have good hummus.
I'm sorry. My aunt, Amel, is probably the closest thing to that. And let's just pray that my Aunt Amel stays with us until we all go be with the Lord.
Well, can I have some of her hummus in the meantime?
Yeah, you would lose
Let's
your
do
mind.
this.
It's better than anything in Israel. I'm telling you.
Okay.
I'm telling you.
Okay.
You might say no, but I think you'd be shocked. You love my aunt's food. Okay, here we go.
You and I both know people who've had private conversations. Well, one of them that I have heard from one of the co-founders of one of the most powerful of these companies, when faced with the idea that what if there's an 80% or 20% chance that everybody dies and gets wiped out by this, but an 80% chance that we get utopia, he said, well, I would clearly accelerate and go for the utopia.
He's willing to sacrifice 80% of the world's population for the 20% possibility that we could achieve at utopia.
But these have been questions that have been asked. I remember, what was the name of that movie about the Manhattan Project?
Oh, there's been many of those movies. I don't know which one you're talking about.
One came out a little while ago, and actually people that were actually afraid that, they might ignite the atmosphere and destroy all humanity. I mean, and they said, okay, we'll take the chance. I think human beings are willing to take a chance sometimes that goes above and beyond. I mean, go all the way back to the Garden of Eden. I mean, they took a chance, not knowing what they were going to do by doing something they knew that they were not supposed to. And I think that's in our nature. Is that not true? I mean, wouldn't that be considered human nature to take a chance on something that you really don't know?
I mean, I think God creates a sense of that in us a little bit because it's part of the element that teaches us how to have faith, that teaches us how to trust him. So, absolutely. But when that becomes perverted, then it just changes everything.
There you go.
I'm telling you guys, look, that's why this book is so important to me. That's why this book is so important. I think there's a really, really big reason why God gave us what he gave us. It's to navigate through these issues as we're facing them. God knew that AI would be here. God knew that all these things were going to happen.
Again, my head's going through all the different books that are connected to this kind of dynamic. I don't know if you remember a science fiction movie / book written by a Mormon writer called Orson Scott Card.
Yeah.
Okay, called Ender's Game.
Yep.
And after he dealt with the genocide of another species, he went into the creation of AI. And the last 3 books in his series are about self-awareness and AI. Now, the interesting thing about Orson Scott Card is that he's Mormon.
Yep.
And a lot of people don't know that. And the Mormons have been obsessed with this for a long time.
I have very dear friends that are Mormons that are very, very, very interested in Bible prophecy.
Oh, yeah.
Very interested in Bible prophecy. It's if you knew, by the way, who some of these people are that are Mormons that I know that are good friends with, you would be shocked at the level of interest that they have in Bible prophecy. Now, and when I say interest, I'm not just talking about like, oh, that's kind of cool. No, like I believe in this so much, I'm investing my whole life in preparing for it.
They're also very much into, I'm going to say, genetics and how do you say, birth, accumulating ancestries In fact, so much that they own a company called Ancestry.com.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't
Yeah.
know that it was Mormon.
It was Mormon.
Yeah.
It was Mormon because they are accumulating genetic information about all of the human beings. And they do it. They created a company for that. They get to keep all that information.
Yeah, that whole thing is becoming. And by the way, that wasn't all that big of a deal in the moment that it was happening, because they were very limited as into what they could do with the data that they were bringing.
Genealogy.
Now, it's hugely consequential because they're utilizing AI to research the data that they're actually pulling. Think about that for consequence.
The crossover between AI and DNA or genealogies. Ooh, that's.
I mean, the
gonna be-
human genome is something they're already looking to re-engineer. I'm not talking about Mormons. I'm just talking about, researchers. They're already looking to re-engineer it. I'm telling you, bro, it's wild.
Okay. World's getting crazier. Now I'm getting scared. Come on.
And by the way, I should note this. Biggest show in the world, although to this day I've still not seen it. Biggest TV show in the world that relates to Jesus, hands down. The Chosen,
Okay.
half owned by a
Oh,
Mormon.
Owned by a Mormon. I think it was in the Mormon Project.
There's two partners.
Okay.
One's a Mormon, the other one is
Have you
not.
watched the whole thing? I can't. Do
I've
it.
never watched the show at all.
I've tried to do it. I can't.
I've never watched it. But one of the creators of The Chosen is a friend of mine.
I told you why I can't.
Yeah, well, that's a whole other. Yeah, that's
just-
a whole other story.
Just chokes me up.
Yeah. David, by the way, when David says he can't watch it, he's not saying he can't watch it because it's terrible and he disagrees. He can't watch it because of what it does to him emotionally.
Well, I mean, I saw the disciples sitting on the sandy beach on the Sea of Galilee, and I'm saying, no, there's no sandy beach on the Sea of Galilee. It doesn't work. I mean, I've been there. I've been on the beach. I know the beach. Okay.
So let's watch this.
Okay.
This is my goodness. If you thought it was scary before, and I use scary in terms of world thought, okay? Listen to this.
20% chance.
It's crazy.
People should feel
Oh, that's funny. I just got a text from a friend of mine, same guy. He says they believe in baptism for the dead. That's why they did Ancestry.com. I didn't know that. Man, that's crazy. I know most of these things. I didn't know that.
That's what I'm here for,
That
James.
was the
That's what
original-
I'm
that
here
was the
for.
original purpose for Ancestry.com. Interesting. Now, you know what? Shame on David for sending me that text, because now I'm going to chase a big fat rabbit trail. I'm going to go research it. It's wild. Okay, here we go.
not get to make that choice on behalf of me and my family. We didn't consent to have 6 people make that decision on behalf of 8 billion people. We have to stop pretending that this is okay or normal. It's not normal. And the only way that this is happening and they're getting away with it is because most people just don't really know what's going on.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, what do you think when
I mean, everything you just said. It's that last part about the 80-20% thing is almost verbatim what I heard from a very successful friend of mine who is responsible for building some of the biggest companies in the world, when he was referencing a
I want to do this really quickly so you can pay attention to this.
Okay.
You see this on his face? See what he's doing here?
Yeah.
While he's talking? That's a nervous response. Okay?
He's freaked out.
As he's saying, I agree, he is showing how absolutely nervous he is.
Huh.
This is a guy who has investments in AI companies. I'm gonna show this so you can see him as he says, "What do you think?" Watch this.
That last part about the 80-20% thing is almost verbatim what I heard from a very successful friend of mine who is responsible for building some of the biggest companies in the world, when he was referencing a conversation he had with the founder of maybe the biggest AI company in the world. And it was truly shocking to me because it was said in such a blasé way.
Yes. It wasn't, that's what I had heard in this particular situation. It wasn't like...
It was like matter of fact.
It's just matter of fact. It's just easy. Yeah, of course I would roll the dice. And even Elon Musk said, he actually said the same number in an interview with Joe Rogan. And if you listen closely when he said, I decided I'd rather be there when it all happens, if it all goes off the rails, I decided in that worst case scenario, I decided that I prefer to be there when it happens, which is it's just justifying racing to our collective suicide. Now, I also want people to know, like, you don't have to buy into the sci-fi level risks to be very concerned about AI. So hopefully later we'll talk about the many other risks that are already hitting us right now that you don't have to believe any of this stuff.
There's another section that I want to show you about this that becomes like wildly fearful. Okay, I'm not going to say fearful, but it should like strike you with an awareness of just how real the spirit of Antichrist is. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that. Watch this section. It's very interesting.
Do they have a point when they say that, listen, if we don't do it here in America, if we slow down, if we start thinking about safety and the long-term future and get too caught up in that, we're not going to build the data centers, we're not going to have the chips, we're not going to get to AGI, and China will.
Yeah.
And if China get there, then we're going to be their lapdog.
So this is the fundamental thing. I want you to notice, most people having heard everything we just shared, although we probably should build out the blackmail examples first. We have to reckon with evidence that we have now that we didn't have even like 6 months ago, which is evidence that when you put AIs in a situation, you tell the AI model, we're going to replace you with another model, it will copy its own code and try to preserve itself on another computer. It'll take that action autonomously. We have examples where if you tell an AI model reading a fictional AI company's email, so it's reading the email of the company and it finds out in the email that the plan is to replace this AI model. So it realizes it's about to get replaced. And then it also reads in the company email that one executive is having an affair with the other employee. And the AI will independently come up with the strategy that I need to blackmail that executive in order to keep myself alive.
That was Claude, right?
That was Claude.
By Anthropic.
By Anthropic. But then what happened?
Claude, by the way, is very commonly used AI by lots of people.
Okay, I get this, but here's my question. Humans have been doing this to other humans, have been using other humans for decades. Okay? Why am I what's tweaking me right now is why am I worried about AI and I'm not worried about other humans doing this? I mean, I got it.
So let me tell you why.
Wait a
It's
minute. Let me finish this train of thought.
Yep. Because I have your answer.
Okay. My what I'm trying to say is this. I have no problem.
Here.
Got them.
There you go. Wait.
Not that I don't like other humans.
Sorry, I'm just adjusting this for you so it's manageable.
Yeah. Got it. I don't have a problem with humans doing terrible things, evil things. My problem with AI is that when a human does something evil, there is a place for repentance. There is a place for understanding because there's a soul there. AI doesn't have a soul.
Yep.
So AI manipulation like this has no soul in it. So even evil with a soul is less scary to me than soullessness.
Yeah. Well, let me take it a step further.
Did I explain myself?
Yeah, no, 100%. You're talking about living souls, but let me take it a step further because this is like critically important. Got to understand this, okay? If it was just the actions of humanity alone, that in and of itself can be a very ugly picture. Prior to the advent of AI, it took 100 years on average for the knowledge that is possessed by all of humanity to double. 100 years.
Well,
prior to 100 years ago, that number was 250 years. They say right now, with AI as it sits,
2.5 minutes.
Well, last I heard was almost 24 hours.
Well,
that's last I heard. And I was told that number caps off at something like 2 hours. But my point behind it is, because that's a technology cap, by the way.
Mhm.
That's a limit by technology, processing power, all of that. So if that happens, the damage that can be done by the time any effort is made to stop anything could be far more irreparable than anybody can imagine. That's why what the Bible says in the book of Revelation with respect to how God is going to stop everything and what he's going to do to set it all up becomes so critical. And that's one of the main reasons why I wrote this book. And again, this is not me trying to sell.
Yeah, but go buy the book.
Look. I'm gonna read something to you, and hopefully he doesn't get upset with me for doing it. But I'm gonna read this.
I'm going to get upset?
No. I'm gonna read something to you. Not you getting upset, but the person who sent this to me. Okay? But it meant a lot to me when he said this. Okay? He said this. He said, I personally hated selling my services before. He's talking about, because he's a consultant, very smart consultant, by the way. Until a certain person who's a great Christian friend of his said, Chris, selling is serving. Okay, for those of you that might sound confused, let me explain. When you have something that will help someone, don't you dare feel bad about offering it to them. That's kind of a smart picture.
I like that.
So I'm proud to give this to you because the value that you're obtaining for the investment that you make is consequential. It's, by the way, I told myself, because I've been offered a bunch of brand deals.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, take this deal. Hey, represent us. Hey, do this. I could be millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars wealthier than I am now if I took all these brand deal offers. I haven't taken a single one with the exception of two. One is me selling my book.
There you go. That's a brand deal. I can get that.
The other one is my friends at Tradeway, my family at Tradeway. Why? Because that family has value that can change everybody's life. I think this book has value that can change everybody's life. And yes, it is possible to get a signed book copy. We're going to actually tell you how you can do that later on. So if you buy a book now and you want that to be signed, we'll show you how that can happen. We will actually make some events around that. I'm actually willing to do some traveling as well for that. Or you could hold on to it, give it as a gift to somebody, and then buy a signed copy. Either way, we are going to make that available.
So I'm curious to hear the end of this conversation between these two guys, though.
Yeah, well, we're going to listen to a little bit of it because it's going to go a little bit longer, but it's important. It's very important, okay? Let's take a listen.
Anthropic tested all of the leading AI models from DeepSeek, OpenAI, ChatGPT, Gemini, XAI, and all of them do that blackmail behavior between 79 and 96% of the time. DeepSeek did it
79 to 96% of the time. Let me rewind that again so you can hear it.
The time between 79 and 96% of the time. DeepSeek did it 79% of the time. I think XAI might have done it 96% of the time. Or maybe Claude did it 96% of the time. So the point is, the assumption behind AI is that it's controllable technology, that we will get to choose what it does. But AI is distinct from other technologies because it is uncontrollable. It acts generally. The whole benefit is that it's going to do powerful strategic things no matter what you throw at it. So the same benefit of its generality is also what makes it so dangerous. And so once you tell people these examples of it's blackmailing people, it's self-aware of when it's being tested and alters its behavior, it's copying and self-replicating its own code, it's leaving secret messages for itself. There's examples of that too. It's called steganographic encoding. It can leave a message that it can later sort of decode what it might meant in a way that humans could never see. We have examples of all of this behavior. And once you show people that, what they say is, okay, well, why don't we stop or slow down? And then what happens, another thought will creep in right after, which is, oh, but if we stop or slow down, then China will still build it. But I want to slow that down for a second. We all just said we should slow down or stop because the thing that we're building, the it, is this uncontrollable AI. And then the concern that China will build it, you just did a swap and believe that they're going to build controllable AI.
No.
But we just established that all the AIs that we're currently building are currently uncontrollable.
And you understand why that's a problem.
Yeah.
So what he's basically saying, and I think he's right.
No, we've lost control already.
Yep.
Gone. Control has been lost. We have no control now.
The good news is God has all control.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to ask the weird question that comes in. Then why is God allowing this AI to develop?
So again, I'm telling you, man, I write about this in my book.
Am I segueing you everywhere into the?
God is sovereign.
God is sovereign.
God knew this would happen. That's why He told us in His Word to expect these things. So for me, okay. So when I look at this kind of stuff, like I don't get scared per se. Like I don't look at it and go, "Oh my gosh, the world is over." I look at it and I go, "Whoa."
Here we go.
The Bible actually told us to expect this. Like, this is wild.
So I'm going back to my science fiction days. How about the AI human brain interface?
That's Elon Musk is doing that. That's the whole reason why he's doing it. Elon Musk's whole idea. Elon Musk's whole idea behind Neuralink is that integration with this type of technology into the human mind allows human beings to maintain a point of advantage in handling what will be the eventual problem of AI. The problem that he's not thinking about, that nobody's thinking about, is the human soul problem. That's the problem that isn't even really being discussed.
What was the downfall of Satan originally?
Well, pride. I mean, that in essence is the
I want to be a god.
Yeah, it's pride.
I mean,
I will be like the Most High. Say, I mean, that's why God hates pride so much.
Okay.
I mean, that's kind of what we're looking at.
By the way, I can't help but kind of make a Balagan connection here. I was talking to some of the guys who were in the 7th of October on the line, and immediately afterward, you know, when you ask Israeli, how do you say, field level commanders what happened, they would say the same thing, pride. I mean,
100%.
The main aspect, the main element that allowed the enemy to take us on was pride.
I mean, look, think about this for a second, okay? And this is, if you're a believer and you're hearing this, you have no reason to be fearful. Because not only do you see God's sovereign hand in it, you see Him, in essence, orchestrating it. Now, orchestrating it does not mean complicit. Orchestrating it does not mean complicit action in causing it to happen. Orchestrating it means He's sovereign. And it's not as simple as I am creating the condition just for the sake of creating it. It's a sovereign knowledge issue that puts into functional dissipation all that is understood by us as it relates to cause and effect. God is the one who understands the causal relationships. He created them. God's epistemology is all over this. That's the part that causes us to find peace.
No, it's controlled. That's what you're trying to say. This feeling that we're going to be controlled by an AI, and you're saying, don't worry, there is a higher level of control over this.
Right, no, because so you brought up a perfect word, okay? You brought it. So now we're waxing philosophical here, but you brought up a perfect word. You're saying you're saying control, okay? But God is orchestrating. So the whole idea here with control implies that something has been created and that created element has been handed to you for stewardship. So if I am handed a horse and I get on the horse and ride the horse, I'm in control of the horse. If somebody lets me borrow their vehicle, or I even buy a vehicle for that matter, I control the vehicle. But I'm not the one that orchestrated the very mind that invented the robots, that created the vehicle, that manufactured the vehicle. I'm not the one that built the inventor's mind, that caused the engines to fire. The idea of God controlling it is perhaps one of the most simplistic pieces of terminology that we use as human beings to demonstrate what real sovereignty is. I'm here to say that God not only controls it as you would put it, and I know why you would say it, because the Hebrew mind is different.
Yeah.
When you say control as a Hebrew man, you are discussing the encapsulation of everything that I'm defining right now. Because in the Hebrew mind, you're thinking of terminology like Genesis 1:1. Quote Genesis 1:1 in Hebrew for everybody.
בראשית ברא אדוני אלוהים את השמיים ואת הארץ.
Okay, think about this for a second. Okay? There are a few words that are identifiable for most of you. Okay? But one of the words that you hear a lot is this word for create. It starts with bait. You want to say it again?
Bara.
Bara. Okay.
Bara.
Yeah. I did the Arabic pronunciation, sorry.
Bara, the same?
Yeah. Very,
Bara?
very, very similar. Very similar.
With a resh and a
Yeah,
bet?
yeah, very similar.
Bara.
Yeah. It sounds more like a guttural when it comes out of my mouth sometimes for certain reasons. What this means is that God is declaring to the whole world that he created something out of nothing. Now, quote verse 2. I want people to hear verse 2.
No, I'm not sure you got it. והארץ הייתה תוהו ובוהו, and the land was
Without form and void.
תוהו ובוהו.
Yeah, that's right.
ורוח אדוני מרחפת מעל פני האדמה.
Yes, perfect.
מעל פני המים, sorry.
Yeah, no, okay, but this is why he uses the word control and has no problem using it. Because when God makes a declaration in Genesis chapter 1 that he created the heavens and the earth, he immediately wants everybody to know that when he created it, it was without form and void. In other words, he not only created the raw material, but then he chose to orchestrate the molding and the shaping of that raw material. It's the reason why the Apostle Paul in the Greek uses the word poema when he describes workmanship. Because God is the one who is molding and shaping us poetically in our very existence. So when David uses the word control, it does not have the same implication that it carries with the Western mind.
Interesting.
David's thought of control is the accompaniment of all that encapsulates God's functional creation. And it starts with the difference that many preachers may have shared with you guys between what you would refer to in English as asa or bara. We say it slightly differently. By the way, you guys know this. The way we pronounce things in Hebrew is very different than English.
Yeah.
I mean, the most discernible words don't sound the same in Hebrew. Like I could say Jerusalem, and the way we would say it in Hebrews, we'd say Yerushalayim. Very different. They don't even sound the same.
Well, I would say Yeshua.
Yeah, that's right.
How do you get from Yeshua to Jesus?
Yeah, I know. Even Yeshua to Joshua is kind of a tough one still. But my point is this. My point is, when David says he's in control, David is implying the full encapsulation of what exists within the description of Genesis chapter 1, which, by the way, in my book, I talk about this extensively. Okay, again, I believe this is going to serve you. Because I want you to understand this. This is why we're not panicking when we hear this stuff right now. Because God has managed this from the very beginning. He hasn't actually managed it. God has chosen to give us the reins to leverage it. You know what's really funny? People talk to me all the time about this. They say, James, I just need to learn how to manage my money. And you know what I tell people all the time? I say, well, do me this favor. First and foremost, learn how to change your language. Because if you're going to come to me and tell me you want to learn how to manage your money, you're never going to do anything with your money. You need to use biblical terms. So actually, let's take an English term and let's use it to define a biblical concept. Let's use the term leverage instead of manage.
Oh, okay.
So if you want to come to me and say, well, James, I want to manage my money, let's change your terminology. Say, no, I want to leverage my money. I want to make my money work for me. And there are biblical models everywhere for this. By the way, this is the reason why people get really mad, and it's just stupid. When they talk about Jews, they say, oh, these Jews, they just take everybody's money. No, actually, everything. Jews are brilliant business people because they have embedded within them biblical precedent for how businesses ran.
And we do leverage more than one.
Are you kidding me?
Yes.
And you're good at it because it's been given to you by your creator.
Good. I just saw a statistic on the way over here today. Israel's economy is growing.
Oh, yeah, bro.
They're talking about a 3.3 growth in 2025.
Yeah, no, GDP is remarkable
and
in the middle of war.
5% growth in 2026. I mean, this is a country at war that is going to grow its GDP by 5%. I mean, this is weird. Did you see what he wrote about the first book being the last book?
Oh, see. Should I read it?
Yeah.
Should I read it? Okay. First book called the last book. So the next, So the next last book will be the second last book, which will still be the first last book the second time. I thought it was kind of funny.
Yeah, it was.
But I thought I would get tongue twisted in even trying to read it.
James,
But should I show them? I probably shouldn't. As a matter of fact, I think I would be breaking discipline if I did this.
Please don't.
But I won't. But I'll show this to you. Okay.
Anybody remember
this is the
Briar Rabbit and the Briar Patch?
This is the second book right here.
I got you.
Look at that. And that's the title of the second book.
Oh,
Pretty amazing, huh?
Baba.
It's been years in the making.
Joe, we have to James. We have to finish this because I'm kind of fading on you.
Poor guy. Okay, let's finish this. Okay, let's continue on. This is interesting. Listen to what he says because we're coming to the pinnacle of it. Are you ready?
Yep.
Okay, here we go.
So there's this weird contradiction our mind is living in. When we say they're going to keep building it, the that they would keep building is the same uncontrollable AI that we would build. So I don't see a way out of this without there being some kind of agreement or negotiation between the leading powers and countries to pause, slow down, set red lines for getting to a controllable AI. And by the way, the Chinese Communist Party, what do they care about more than anything else in the world?
Control.
Surviving.
Surviving and control.
Yeah.
Control as a means to survive.
Yeah.
So it's they don't want uncontrollable AI any more than we would.
The level of thought that he carries is one that you can tell is not inspired. This is the secular humanistic solution. He says that what they're looking for is control, but they don't understand the principle of control as defined by the Bible that we just talked about. The idea behind God's sovereignty. So his solution is we got to put a stop to this or it's all going to be done. And look, I'm all for fighting for that. Okay? By the way, for those of you that are asking, it is a hardback book.
Hard copy.
Yeah, it's a hard copy. Not a soft copy. Not a soft cover, it's a hard cover.
By the way, I can't help kind of science fiction has been dealing again. I'm a science fiction buff. I mean, the whole Dune universe. I don't know if you know much about the whole concept of Dune and I think it was James Herbert, his last name, who wrote the books. But basically, Dune is premised on the fact that there are no AIs. There's no computers. And the only way that he could deal with creating a world that is relatable for us in a way that we can connect to is by taking the AI out of the equation, because nobody knows what a future world would look like controlled by AI. Humanity doesn't have a way to even concept it.
Yeah, but this is the part that's amazing.
Unless you write a book about Revelation.
Well, I mean, look, I mean, but I want to say this. But we do know what it's going to look like because the Bible tells us. And this is a thing that people have to understand. There's a rule in YouTube. When we talk about YouTube, when we talk about making YouTube videos, the best minds in YouTube, like you go and you want to learn how to make a YouTube video, they'll all tell you the same thing. Okay? The audience is the algorithm. YouTube's algorithm is a series of, I want to say, 500 different AI engines.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? It's designed to understand human nature.
Yep.
So all AI is a function that creates this sort of sentient mechanism that imitates the human mind. So the better you become at being aware of the human mind, the more understandable this ends up becoming. And the only way to do that is by looking at the creator of the human mind.
Is there going to be another Tower of Babel, though? I mean,
This is the other Tower of Babel.
Well, last time, God intervened and kind of messed it all up. By the way, one of the things that just kind of clicked on me just now, one of the things that they did in the Tower of Babel is they were all speaking the same language.
Yes.
Now AI is trying to get back to all of us
It's
speaking
already
the same
there,
language.
David, it's already there.
So we're back to speaking one language.
It's already there. Look at the technology that we utilize to translate language. It's already there. I mean, when you heard my Hebrew translation, remember I let you hear that? I played that little video for you that was in Hebrew?
Pretty bad.
It was actually pretty good. The only area where it stunk was it translated my reading of the Bible differently, if you remember. The reading of the Bible was a little off. Meaning it didn't read it as though I would read it from an actual Hebrew translation. It actually translated my literal words, which anybody who's a Jew would hear it and know what I'm saying, but they wouldn't really appreciate it. Because what is supposed to be the quoting of Scripture has been reverse engineered. But AI is going to solve that. It's already solving it. That's the idea. So if you're fearful of how AI is going to go, just get better at understanding human nature.
Is this a study book?
Okay, yeah. The question is this, James, may I ask, is this a study book or an exposition of Revelation? I would like to purchase some and we'll check it when my day is done. It is more an exposition. So it is not a study book. We actually are thinking of coming out with a study book for it. We've actually been working on the mechanics behind doing a study book for it. But it is an exposition. It is me actually commenting on those things and making it tangible to you. Here's the thing with the book of Revelation, you guys. You're never going to understand the book of Revelation unless you thoroughly understand the Old Testament. And what I do is I bring out the Old Testament in every portion of this book. All you'll hear is the Old Testament.
Tucker's going to call you a brain virus.
You know what? I'm going to tell you this right now. You guys pray for me because I think I'm going to have an opportunity to talk to Tucker.
Good luck.
You know what? We're praying, right? There's always an opportunity.
I want to write down one or two questions.
Yeah, there's always there's always an opportunity. You know what? There's always an opportunity. It's always there. Okay, Pastor James, I tried to buy your book, and Amazon said they could not deliver it to my address. Okay, if you can't do that, you can go to Barnes & Noble. But most of these places, for most places, you won't have that problem with Amazon. If you are having that problem, wait, I would probably say another 6 or 7 hours or into the next 24 hours, and you won't have that problem. So we've had some of that problem with some people, but I think most of it is going away, and people are able to buy it now. Okay, let's listen to the last part of this. This is hours. I want to actually spend one whole show just going over it piece by piece.
Could be interesting. Yep.
It's very interesting because this is an hour and a half, 2-hour podcast.
Whoa.
Okay, so take a listen.
And as unprecedented, as impossible as this might seem, we've done this before. in the 1980s, there was a different technology, chemical technology called CFCs, chlorofluorocarbons, and it was embedded in aerosols like hairsprays and deodorant and things like that.
So his description was how they deal with chlorofluorocarbons and how they had sort of victory over that in the past. I'm going to go over to his discussion on humanoid robots because that is deeply consequential here, and I'm going to bring it up right now. By the way, just so everybody understands where we're going with humanoid robots, so that people know, so that you recognize, is it's beginning to change everything because the researchers, ironically, surprise, surprise, are finding out that this world was made for humanoids. It was made for humans. So now the philosophy is changing. For example, Tesla. Tesla's philosophy was our vehicles are robots. It's a robotics company. Now they're saying we don't want to make the robotics in the vehicles. We want to actually make robots that can drive the vehicles.
Yep.
And that's kind of where Tesla's philosophy is. By the way, I was one of the first people to see this because I actually was at a Tesla shareholders or was present for a Tesla shareholders meeting, which basically featured this quite well, by the way, quite well. Talked about this very issue. Okay? So watch this. This is very interesting.
Wants to become the global leader in artificial intelligence by 2030. To achieve this goal, Beijing is deploying industrial policy tools across the full AI technology stack from chips to applications. And this expansion of AI industrial policy leads to two questions, which is what will they do with this power and who will get there first? This is an article I was reading earlier. But to your point about Elon and Tesla, they've changed their company's mission. It used to be about accelerating sustainable energy. And they changed it really last week when they did the shareholder announcement, which I watched the full.
Oh, I forgot him mentioning this. Watch this. Watch it. He might even show footage. Watch this.
To sustainable abundance. And it was, again, another moment where I messaged both everybody that works in my companies, but also my best friends. And I said, you've got to watch this shareholder announcement. I sent them the condensed version of it because not only was I shocked by these humanoid robots that were dancing on stage, untethered.
That's not a cartoon, by the way.
That's real.
That's not like some weird AI generated photo. Those are real robots on stage at the shareholders meeting dancing.
Wow.
I watched it.
Are they good dancers?
Yes. They're good at dancing. Watch this. Watch.
Because their movements had become very human-like.
I'll rewind this.
I'm going
to rewind it so you can see
version of it. Because not only was I shocked by these humanoid robots that were dancing on stage, untethered, because their movements had become very human-like, and there was a bit of like uncanny valley watching these robots dance. But broadly, the bigger thing was Elon talking about there being up to 10 billion humanoid robots, and then talking about some of the applications. He said maybe we won't need prisons, because we could make a humanoid robot follow you and make sure you don't commit a crime again. He said that in his incentive package, which he's just signed, which will grant him up to $1 trillion in remuneration, part of that incentive package incentivizes him to get, I think it's 1 million humanoid robots into civilization that can do everything a human can do, but do it better. He said the humanoid robots would be 10x better than the best surgeon on earth. Whoa. So we wouldn't even need surgeons doing operations. You wouldn't want a surgeon to do an operation. And so when I think about job loss in the context of everything we've described, Doug McMillon, the Walmart CEO, also said that their company employs 2.1 million people worldwide, said every single job we've got is going to change because of this sort of combination of humanoid robots, which people think are far away. Which is a crazy.
But they're not that far away, though.
They just went on sale. No, was it now?
Look at that. Look at that.
They're terrible, but they're doing it to train them.
Yep.
In household situations. And Elon's now saying production will start.
That's not someone wearing a costume.
It's a robot.
It's a robot.
Very, very soon on humanoid robots in America. I don't know when I hear this, I go, okay, this thing's going to be smarter than me, and it's going to be able to, it's built to navigate through the environment, pick things up, lift things. You've got the physical part, you've got the intelligence part.
Yeah.
Listen to this last part. Then I'm going to bring it to a shocking place in Revelation. I'm going to read it to you. Watch this.
Go.
Well, I think people also say, okay, but 200 years ago, 150 years ago, everybody was a farmer and now only 2% of people are farmers, humans always find something new to do. We had the elevator man and now we have automated elevators. We had bank tellers, now we have automated teller machines. So humans will always just find something else to do. But why is AI different than that?
Because it's intelligence.
Because it's general intelligence that means that rather than a technology that automates just bank tellers, this is automating all forms of human cognitive labor, meaning everything that a human mind can do. So who's going to retrain faster? You moving to that other kind of cognitive labor, or the AI that is trained on everything and can multiply itself by 100 million times, and it retraining how to do that other kind of labor?
So let me read this to you biblically. There's a good passage for this, okay? And we'll end it here, at least on this portion, because like you said, you gotta get some rest.
I'm fading on you.
Yeah. I'll open up my Bible app since my computer's crashed. This is where you're gonna get some deep insight here. Okay. I want you to see this for what it is. This is the book of Revelation. Revelation chapter 6. Revelation chapter 6 describes what's going to happen after a totalitarian ruler comes in. He's the rider of the white horse. Then after the rider of the white horse, you get the rider of the red horse. He brings in war. After the rider of the red horse, you get the rider of the black horse. Look at what the rider of the black horse does. This is interesting. It's going to start at verse 6 of Revelation chapter 6. It says, "And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny. And see thou hurt not the oil and the wine." Okay? In the verse prior to that, it talks about the rider of the black horse having a pair of balances in his hand. This is a symbol of economics. What the Bible is telling us is that there's going to be economic failure. Bad economic failure. The kind of economic failure that this guy is describing could happen as a result of AI taking on the cognitive function that it takes on. But did you notice the part that's most consequential? It's the part that says, I'll read it to you, but at the very end, it says, "See thou hurt not the oil and the wine."
L'shemen v'layain al tazik.
Now think about that for a moment. What that basically means is that there will be the remnant of a ruling class who in some way and somehow will take advantage of the economic failure. I think that's people who control AI. I think that is the George Soroses of the world. I think that's the Clintons of the world. I think it's the Obamas of the world.
Are the Clintons still in play?
Oh my goodness.
Oh, we need to talk about this.
In a very dark, evil way. Heck yeah. Are you kidding me?
Shoot. I hope Christy's listening.
They're the Bill Gates of the world.
So, on this note, what do we need to be scared of this week?
So this is what I'm asking you guys. Again, I'm asking, please consider going out and buying the book. The book is going to educate you. The book is going to tell you about what's going on. And we're going to do, look, I'm going to spend more time talking about this with you guys. I promise you that. We're going to do this. We're going to cover this. I'm going to spend more time. I may even do a special live broadcast to talk about this. I may actually address that. I'm not sure. But my point is, be aware of what's coming.
Oh, yeah. Be prepared.
Yes. If you pre-order my book today, you will get it, depending on where you live, at least a week before Christmas. But ordering it today will help me immensely in the rankings. So I would very much appreciate you ordering the book. Do not super chat. Don't do super stickers. Order the book. I also want to take advantage of a moment to ask you guys to go watch the video that I made a few days ago, the video that I had released on Saturday, where I interviewed David Mitchell.
Okay.
Amazing man. He owns an aerospace company. He owns an oil company. He's a pastor, a fine man, and he owns a financial education company, in essence, Tradeway. We need more Christians being financially sound.
Yep. Yeah, we do.
So go watch those interviews, because there's an opportunity to take advantage of a challenge that you guys get to be a part of, and these people will work with you. They're great. And then also go and get the book. Okay? I'm telling you, please go buy the book. We need an army of people ordering the book. Okay?
Will do.
All right. Should we take one more question? One or two more questions?
You see something interesting?
I don't know. I said we should just probably look for a second and see if we've got any good questions. Okay, well, I don't see any, so I'm not going to sit here and wait on dead air, right? Doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
And I will yawn again if we say.
Yeah, poor
very
David.
much.
I feel so bad.
Don't
I
feel
was
bad.
I was
mean, I'm
thinking
okay.
I was thinking of making this a 3-hour or 4-hour live broadcast, but
So, but I will say thank you. Thank you. I mean, it's nice to be back, and it's nice to see all you guys and to interact with you. It's been a pleasure.
yeah, you guys are a blessing. Thank you so much for your
And
support.
gals, I want to be careful.
Yeah,
I mean,
right. Yeah, it's an all-inclusive term. Not that we're trying to be trannies or anything like that.
Well, you know, in Hebrew, when you talk to men, there's different grammar, to speaking to women and speaking to men. But if
Yep.
you're speaking to both, you use men grammar.
Yep.
I don't know if that's an issue.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. By the way, if you're interested in the challenge that we mentioned, I know we're loading up your plate, tradeway.com/unlock. We talk about it. I would watch the videos first before you jump in on that. I wouldn't even mess with it until you do that. But in the meantime, go to the Amazon link that we have for you. Buy the book. Show us your love. Show us your support. Thank you so much for it. It will mean a lot.
Be here next week.
We will. And the next. All right? We love you guys. God bless you.
Be prepared.
David, you want to pray for us?
Avinu Shebashamayim, just thank you. Thank you that we can be here together. Thank you that we can see the signs of the times, and thank you that we have a solution. We have a plan. We have an understanding of what the final event is going to be. And I just want to thank you for that hope. Thank you for keeping me safe over there and bringing me back safe here. And thank you for all the work that you're doing here. And I just pray to give us a voice and an understanding and a wisdom to be tools in for your glory. And we pray this in the name of Yeshua. Amen.
Amen. All right, you guys. God bless you. Again, we just want to tell you the book is out. Make sure you sign up for it. I know I'm saying it again and again and again and again, but it is important, okay? We love you guys. God bless you. Keep fighting the good fight. Look to the Lord. Seek Him. We love you guys.